Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only Real Leel back here on this mic right now, and I am back for another episode of the Real Leel Show. As always, I get my unique takes going on in the world of sports and pop culture. Also, to be noted, some of these clips will air on my radio show, Get Yo Azz Home, on VYBE 95, using the My Radio Tuner app. So, welcome VYBE 95 as well to the show. I got a special guest on the show, my guy, Trip from Real Fans Real Talk Show. You can catch his show on, what is it, BPN2, Verizon Channel 44?
43. We on
43.
Yes,
You're on 43 now. I was one spot away, but we did. But Trip, what's going on, my brother?
Man, I'm in a good space. But I'm still like I'm just still in the middle though. But I'm in a good space though.
It be like that, bro. Me, the way how my schedule goes, for some reason, 1 week I'm good and I'm happy and I'm all smiles and joy, and the next week I'm just like a little iffy. You know, it's been like that since the pandemic started. But hey, we got through a pandemic. I'm pretty sure we can get through a whole lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But yeah, I want to jump right into the show with you right now. Starting with the first topic we had, a lot of things has transpired in the world the last couple of weeks. One of the things that happened yesterday was the trial of Derek Chauvin, to be honest with you, for the murder of George Floyd. And he got convicted. They found him guilty in the court. I just want to know your thoughts on that because we don't normally receive justice. I don't even know how to feel because I'm not used to it. I really didn't show no emotion. I was happy that, he got convicted, but I still showed no emotion because it's hard to when you think about all the stuff that we've been through. And it's hard to show some type of emotion when you're supposed to have something rather than somebody doing it for you just to do it, So what are your thoughts on the trial and Derek Chauvin being convicted for the murder of George Floyd?
Well, that's why I started off the show by saying I'm still kind of in the middle. I feel good that accountability was had in this individual case. I don't feel good about the fact that even though we finally got some accountability, that don't bring back George Floyd. That don't bring back his children's father. His mother's son, his sister's brother, his brother's brother. That doesn't bring that human being back. So although it's a great it's great to see it happen. But there's so much more that needs to follow, and there are so many other cases where officers weren't held accountable for their actions that we can't get those back either. So I'm good in the moment. Honestly, it's a big victory, but on the grand scheme of things, it's really just a small victory. And there needs to be a lot of new training put back in if you're gonna try and keep officers, because I can't even speculate in the world, let alone just this country, the number of bad officers, or they like to say bad apples, that there are amongst those that are in law enforcement. So that training has to be changed. Whatever was being taught, that has to be now untaught, and a new strategy has to be implemented amongst these officers, especially when you see 20 minutes away from where Derek Chauvin was just found guilty on all three charges, a 26-year veteran shot and killed another unarmed black man, and that woman was also a trainer of police officers. So if you have the person that is training officers cannot make the proper distinction between a taser and a handgun, and this is the person that's training hundreds upon hundreds of other officers, clearly this is a small thing in a whole big issue.
Yeah, definitely. And you briefly mentioned it. There's a lot of examples of unarmed black men being shot and killed by the police. But for some reason, out of all the ones that we have, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, illegal chokehold, all the ones that we have, for some reason, this one with George Floyd, in my opinion, from me observing, stuck with a lot of people that wasn't, only African American. This one, it just stood out. I seen a lot of Caucasian people, a lot of, people from around different races. This one, for some reason, this particular incident stood out to them. And the NFL as well, because then the NFL came out and apologized to Colin Kaepernick after this specific incident. So what do you think? Why do you think that is? Is it because the horror of watching that video, seeing Derek Chauvin have his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and it being replayed constantly by the news and the media? Do you think it's that? What do you think? Why do you think this one in particular stood out to other people more than the other murders of unarmed black men that goes on all the time?
I don't think it's worse at all. I mean, I look at them all equally. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a life is taken, I don't like. For me, it doesn't even matter in what particular way. It's all horrible. I mean, we pretty much saw the same thing with Eric Garner. Being choked out on camera as well. So you could actually equate those two. Those two are probably the most similar, just because suffocation and being choked. Obviously, it was with a knee on the back of George Floyd's neck, and in Eric Garner's case, it was a chokehold that did it. But ultimately, both of those men, were screaming, "I can't breathe." So those will probably be the two most, when you. So they're pretty much, as far as terror goes, they're all equal. But I think the difference between now and the things that we had going on in the past is that the entire world was slowed down by COVID. So when you're home and you're forced now to take a direct eyewitness view of what is happening to black people in this country, like there's literally nothing else you could do, especially let's say for the first like 3 to 4 months of the pandemic. So maybe March, April, May, June, between like March and like July, I'll say. You know what I'm saying? Before things little by little started to creep back in and you could do different things and whatnot. But those core months where everything was pretty much shut down, you were forced to watch and listen to three things: George Floyd being murdered on camera, Breonna Taylor being murdered in her home, and Ahmaud Arbery being murdered down in Georgia. So the world has now stopped, and you are now watching on camera. After hearing about Breonna Taylor, because that kind of like sparked it off. But when it got to George Floyd, the fact that you had to look at this video of this man kneeling on George Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes, the look in his eyes, like he had a God complex. Like, I am the judge, jury, and executioner. I have all power in this situation. Like, that's how that face is embedded into my mind. Watching him with his knee on George Floyd's neck and just looking up like, and what?
Yeah.
I'm a white police officer in the United States of America, and I can do whatever I want. That's what that look said to me. And you were forced to see that image of that man kneeling on the back of George Floyd's neck while he is already in police custody. And you have to watch that because the world has stopped. So it is everywhere now.
That was an excellent point that you brought up about COVID and how COVID stopped. It paused everybody in their tracks. We live in a society where it's a 24/7 society. You're working. You barely have time to brush your teeth. I mean, that's the society that we live in. So a lot of people, because they're working so many hours and they also try to balance that family life that they may have, some people, they don't have time to really think about what's going on in the world or to see some of these things that happen. So because everybody was, at home, there wasn't a lot of things
Especially when
going
they
on.
don't affect you.
It don't affect, exactly. There was no sports. You was forced to watch this image being played over and over again. And me personally, I'm one of the people, my friends send me, videos like George Floyd all the time. And I'm that type of person. I don't like watching it. I'm going to be honest, because I don't want that to kill my spirit. I hate when stuff like that, I see stuff like that, because it kills my spirit for the day. But with this, there was no way of getting around this one. This one was on repeat. This one was on the TV, and we were all forced to watch it. Even the people that are, negligent to this, that don't care about it, that don't want to see it, they saw it. And one more thing about that point on why I think this got other people, that's not African Americans, to get on board, was because of the image. Images is everything. That's why people put certain images in commercials and movies, to get you to watch that movie, to get you to buy that product. That image of George Floyd on his neck, that symbol, what that symbolizes, that I have power over you and I'm going to take your life. That is why I believe that it stuck and it resonated with a lot of other people, that probably these other black men that's being shot and killed, it didn't resonate with them before. I think it's because of the image, and they were forced to watch it, like you alluded to. But one reason I would say why I think that justice was served yesterday was because everybody was watching. And I just think that they wasn't going to play us like that. Again, they knew that everybody was watching. If you allow this guy to walk away free, then everybody knows that there's something wrong with the country. So I think it's a matter of, when you think about Trayvon Martin and Eric Garner, they was able to put certain things in the media to try to break down the character of that guy. Like Trayvon Martin, he's a thug.
They did it with George Floyd too.
They tried to, yeah, with the alcohol
and whatnot.
But the difference is that everything was on camera, and there was no, even though there's no justification for Trayvon Martin being killed and Eric Garner, just the image and everything, it just stuck with people. No matter how they try to say that he had alcohol in his body, that wasn't going to get that image out of people's minds, regardless to what he did or what troubles or issues that we all have at times he may have had, So I think that's a lot to do with it. But
and it's also so because I love what you're saying. So what happens is it kind of becomes the perfect storm. Like if you're a person that doesn't really want change, but you want to make it look like you want change and you're giving something to the people, right? It's the perfect storm. You look at Derek Chauvin, right? Is he a likable person like that? Period. Just like, even let's just say, not even amongst like what we say as minorities, if he's nice, but the people that are around him, like, is he like the asshole in the bunch? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he like that guy to where it's like, all right, you know what? This thing is going on right now for the world to see, and we're gonna have to give them something. We don't really rock this dude like that anyway. So, cameras is on, the world is watching, because even when I'm looking at his attorney, I'm just like, this is the best you could get. I kind of felt that way. Like this is the best legal representation that you was able to get. Like, don't y'all got the union or something like that? And this is like, I don't know, for some reason, for me, it felt like he was just getting shut down at every corner. Like, it just wasn't working. Like, if I was on the juror, you know what I mean? Even like if I wasn't a minority, if I was a white person on the jury, I'm just be looking like, this is kind of weak. You know what I'm saying? I might want to still not put this man behind bars, but I still be like, I wasn't really feeling his lawyer. I thought he could have got better. So I was like, all right, so whatever. Lawyer's crappy. And yeah, this is the perfect storm to say, all right, y'all got this one. You know what I'm saying? Now get off our backs. But do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, that it is not over. Just because their accountability has been had in the public's eye, we still have to wait 8 weeks for sentencing. We don't know how much time he is going to get. So let's, for everyone who's celebrating and overly and thinks, oh yeah, we got a win and this is great. No, we did not get a win. Okay, this thing is not over with. You have to wait 8 weeks for sentencing. The judge did remand bail, so he will not have those 8 weeks to go, get his affairs in order. He's going directly to jail. So that was a plus, for the situation. But again, we have to wait and see. I don't know how much time the judge would give him. I don't know.
And the fact when I was watching yesterday and I was watching the judge actually read the charges, the jury and everything, just his face. I mean, the brother was looking surprised. The brother was looking from left to right. I'm like, brother, you wasn't thinking about that when you had your knee on this brother's neck. It's almost like he felt that he was going to get off or something. And it's that privilege that white people have, that white privilege. And
We
it
saw,
looked like that was
see,
floating away.
yeah, we saw someone lose white privilege in that moment.
Yeah,
When the judge
exactly.
said, "I'm gonna I'm taking away the bail," and he did it.
Yeah,
He
he
did
did the
that.
look left to the right.
That was the white privilege leaving at that moment
Exactly.
right there. No, you will not. You will not pass go and collect $200. You will go directly to jail.
Exactly. And hopefully, like I said, this is a step. It's hard to celebrate. There's still a whole lot that we have to accomplish. There's still we've been here forever. I was listening to Mr. Nigga by Mos Def right before I came on the show. That album dropped in 1999. We in 2021. So we still got ways to go. But at least this is a step because maybe cops, the bad apples, should I say the bad apples that think like a Derek Chauvin, that have that same type of rhetoric in their minds. Maybe it causes them to be like, you know what? I saw him go down. I may not, I may walk away. I may not take this brother's life in this incident. You always got to make an example. America was built off racism. It's in the roots. It's in the blood of this country. But I want to end with this, and this is a question. Do you think that because now, right, not that it's happening more often now. It always have happened through history, but it seems like I guess you could say it's more publicized. It's more in the media. It's more out there now because everybody got phones. Do you think that this country will ever get over that racist hump, or do you think that it's what we see right now is those few bad apples that's just trying to save that racism, keep that white privilege, keep that. So they're trying to do everything they can to keep that and pass it on to their children? Or do you think it's actually going to stay here because it's America?
So what happens is, yes, I believe it will. At what point, I really can't say because it just depends on generationally how far that mindset has been embedded. And I say that because if I like, we are kind of like about right now, this generation, we're kind of in that, as far as time goes, we're in the era where, let's say, the mindset from the 50s and 40s and that time, right just before the civil rights movement, the people that were alive at that time that were preaching hate to their children, that generation of people is starting to die off little by little. So once when as that generation dies off more, and there's a new mindset, because there's one thing to preach hate to a child, but when a child actually experiences people of different races and religions and nationalities, and they can see for themselves, well, since I was a baby, you've been telling me that these people are bad, these people are disgusting, these people are terrible, but when I'm actually encountering these people, for the most part, they're good. Everybody has their good and their bad. Every race has good and bad.
Every,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? But that that level of hatred, even like I always, I kind of relate it to Hollywood, right? So, as minorities get pissed off from time to time about the Grammys and about the Oscars because we don't get the credit that we deserve for work that we put in, the way our white counterparts do. But we also have to realize that the people that are in these spaces are older, white men who run all of these companies, these movie
Companies.
companies, excuse me, all of the biggest ones. And not saying that they're all racist, but they control what comes out of Hollywood, who gets awarded what, who gets nominations, because it doesn't matter how good a, let's say the best man, right? It doesn't matter how good of a movie the best man can be if the people that are in place to pick who gets nominated for awards would never watch a movie like The Best Man, not because he feels like it's a bad movie, but it's just not a movie that's on his radar that he would watch, no matter who's in it. We would say, okay, there's a lot of the top black stars in the movie The Best Man. You know, we probably at least give it check it out and see what's up. But if the people that are all voting, if they don't say, all right, let me just check this out and see what up, oh, this came out, and they're not watching everything, they're just watching what they like, because there's a lot of white movies I'm sure that we haven't seen, and we just probably I don't want to watch that bull. You know what I mean? Like, but we're not the people that vote on these boards for all of these award shows. So if the people, like, if you're a voter, then it's really your obligation to watch everything and you have to give everything a chance, because how could you actually know what's the best movie if you've only watched, let's say, the 10 white movies that came out this year, whatever. Obviously, it's more than 10 movies that come out in a year, but let's just say only 10 movies came out in a year, and you only watched the white movies. You didn't watch none of the black movies, none of the Spanish. Anything that has a minority lead, you didn't really watch it. Anything that's anywhere close to being urban or anything black, you didn't watch it. How can you say that whatever dropped this year is better than one of these movies?
The same thing when it comes to the hiring process. You know, you see in the NFL, a lot of these owners, well, majority of the owners there's no African Americans there at all. And that's because they hire people that look like them, that think like them. You know, they don't really go out and try to be diverse. It's always like, oh, I know this brother's going to think like me. I know him through somebody. And that's how that brother end up getting the job. But to answer my own question, I say this. I think that a lot of what we see is the older people dying out and trying all that they can to make sure that that legacy of racism in America still carries on. I don't think in the future, I mean, if I'm being positive here, in the future, when you think about history and history that passed, things don't last forever. Things always change. We were kings and queens before we were slaves. So things always progress and change. Nothing lasts forever. That's for everybody that's listening to the show. Nothing lasts forever. So the fact is that when we do get back to the place that we need to get to as a people, there won't be no such thing as racism, because racism is when you actively can affect somebody. So once we get back to that spot, there won't be racism. You know, it'd probably be discrimination, but it won't be racism, because they won't be able to actively affect us like they do today and like they've been doing for the last 100 years.
To that, we got to get to that spot though.
It's a process.
To get to
it's a process.
It's possible, but it is going to take a while, and not because it has nothing to do with anything that we may do, just because of the system that has been put in place before us. And when people don't understand how important it is to vote, and not even just for your president, but you have to also, like, we got an election coming up every year. This year there's going to be another election coming up, and those people that are on that ballot are going to be the people that can affect you. You know, in a lot of cases more than the president can, because they are going to control what goes in and out of your community directly. Yeah. So, you know, you got to be aware of that, and you have to vote, and you have to really look at these people that say they are here for your benefit and that have not been here for your benefit once being elected. And that's not even just, that's not white, that's not black, that's not Democrat, that's Republican, that's everybody as a collective, every politician. The same way we wanted accountability from Derek Chauvin, these politicians have to start showing accountability when you say you want to represent this group of people, and we have to hold them accountable to say, all right, well, did you do what you said you were going to do?
For money too. Don't. I feel like some people just try to capitalize because they want to make some money, and it's not a business here. We talking about change that we want to see made. So don't get money greedy. You know, do it from the heart. When I like the fact that you brought that up, because a lot of people think that voting for president is going to be the be all end all. Look, me personally, and this is my personal opinion, we all know each president have their own set of powers that they can be able to, you know, inflict. But I just look at a president as a spokesperson. That's how I look at it. You know, a lot of the things got to get passed by Congress. To be honest with you, they're mainly spokesperson to me. That's how I look at them. So just look at it like, you know, sort of like that, you know, and all right, I can vote for, the mayor and, things that affect you in the local communities more than a president can affect you. Because no matter what, Donald Trump was in office before Biden, and there was a lot of things going on with Trump, but there was a lot of things going on with Obama too. And Obama was black. So that should be the all, example right there, the prime example that even if you have a black president, that things are not going to get done. Trayvon Martin happened under Obama. It's not only about the president. It's about voting for the local, mayors and everybody wanted for town council and everything.
You got to start looking at the character of these politicians. That's cowardly. You're not supposed to leave your city when the pressure is on, when the heat is on, just because you got the ability to. No, you're supposed to stay there. It was the military say they don't leave a man behind, right? Exactly. How are you supposed to be one of the political leaders of a specific place, and as soon as the kind of trouble hits you up out of here, then you're not supposed to be a leader, So we got to hold them accountable.
I think it goes back to everything that we discussed before. It's that 24/7 American thing. I'm too busy. I can't learn about, or I don't really care about the mayor or the town council because I'm busy. I think a lot of it is busyness. The 24/7. Oh, I gotta go. So I don't have time to vote. I know people personally in my family who like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna vote because I gotta work or they tired. So it's all that 24/7. I gotta go. I gotta keep on moving. I gotta taste this money. I got to get to the bag. I got to get to the chicken, like Marshawn Lynch would call it. Protect your chicken. I got to get to the chicken and protect the chicken, so I can't do it. So that's why in some ways.
That's protecting your chicken.
Exactly.
And that's what people missing. Voting protects your chicken.
Exactly. And I'll just leave it like that. I'll leave it like that. That's the perfect way to end this topic and this discussion, and we move on to the next one after this.